Hello. These weekends began just like any other Saturday, with Tom waking up a bit later than usual. He leaned over and gave his wife of 17 years a good morning kiss. She groaned. "Tom, please let me sleep a little longer. I didn't get much rest last night because of you. And even now in the morning, I can't get a break. Besides, the girls might already be up." Tom replied, "You're right. They're old enough now. They won't burst into our bedroom. Let me catch a few more winks." Tom climbed out of bed, put on his robe, and headed to the bathroom. On his way, he heard a noise coming from his eldest daughter, Emma's room. He realized it was her sister, Lily, getting her out of bed, so he decided not to interrupt them. After freshening up, he got dressed and went to the kitchen. His daughters were already waiting eagerly, seated at the table. Emma asked, "Are we having breakfast today? Are you hungry? We need to get ready for school." Tom responded, "Why? You girls are on winter break. You're going to Grandma's house." Emma was curious. "And you? Aren't you on vacation too? These are long weekends. This is all Mom's idea." Tom suggested, "You can make breakfast yourselves." Lily added, "We can, but Mom won't let us. She thinks we'll ruin the pots and burn everything. The only thing we can make is scrambled eggs." Tom asked, "Do you want oatmeal or thick porridge, like they have in England?" Emma said, "Oatmeal, please, sir." Tom laughed. "All right, oatmeal it is, miss. We usually keep oatmeal for the horses. We'll make some smooth porridge." Okay. Now go wash your face and brush your teeth. Breakfast will be ready in 15 minutes. Tom quickly prepared breakfast for his daughters. Meanwhile, Jenny emerged from the bedroom and headed to the bathroom. The girls sat down to eat, and Jenny soon returned, her hair neatly done. Tom looked at his wife, dressed in his shirt, and despite all the years together, she still took his breath away. He admired her beauty, though he knew everyone had their own idea of what that meant. He loved her, but there was a significant challenge between them. Jenny sat at the table and told the girls, "Finish eating. Today, take your time getting ready. Dad will drive you to Grandma's house." Emma protested, "Mom, you promised we'd go to the ski resort for a week. We already got our ski gear ready. We want to celebrate the new year together." Jenny replied, "Girls, life doesn't always give you what you want. But we'll definitely go to the ski resort during spring break, even if there's no snow. Or maybe we'll go to Palmer. They say there's snow in the mountains all year round. Now finish eating and get ready." Tom didn't like the idea of sending the girls to his mother-in-law's house, especially after they had prepared for the trip under false pretenses. He felt that his relationship with Jenny was cooling off, coinciding with the arrival of Richard, the new commercial director at Jenny's work. Tom knew that Jenny knew Richard from university, but she didn't mention her new boss much, which made him uneasy. However, he trusted that his wife would resist any temptation to have an affair with Richard. He considered meeting Richard and talking to him, but decided that it would only strain his relationship with Jenny further. Nonetheless, he kept a close eye on his wife, and as far as he knew, nothing had happened between them except for minor flirting. Jenny, deciding to send the girls to her parents' house today, suggested that during the long New Year weekends, something might happen that she could share with them. Tom prepared himself for this conversation and was ready with a recorder to capture whatever she would say when the discussion started. His tears had dried, his heart had hardened, and he saw that his wife might destroy their family. His main priority was to protect his daughters. Tom knew there would be a conversation today. His friend Lisa had warned him. What Jenny didn't know was that before the conversation, Tom had gone to the bathroom, washed his hands, turned on the recorder, and hid it in his shirt pocket. Then he returned to the kitchen and sat at the table. Jenny was silent for a moment. Then she looked at Tom, smiled briefly, and her smile quickly faded. She announced seriously, "Tom, there's something you and I need to discuss right now." Her words left no doubt that Tom wouldn't like this conversation. He didn't let it faze him, looked away from the food and asked, "What's the problem?" "Tom, there's no problem. You know I love you. I've loved you for many years. You're a wonderful lover, an excellent husband, and a great father to our daughters. I want to grow old with you and maybe even die on the same day. What's holding us back? I'm a trained sociologist from our university, but only a handful of us actually work in the field. Those who do use population surveys and data analysis to understand societal trends, identify the roots of problems, and suggest solutions. I work in marketing now, but I still keep up with the latest developments in sociology. Jenny, this all sounds pretty complicated. Can you give me a simple rundown of your problem? I've been reading about the causes of marital issues and want to minimize the risks in our relationship. No matter what happens between us, we need to take proactive steps to avoid common pitfalls that could lead to a failed marriage. Jenny, it sounds like you've been reading some overblown theories from people seeking attention. I don't buy into these sociological studies. What's this nonsense all about? Jenny laughed and said, Tom, I'm very serious. I'm worried about our family. We could drift apart. The actions we take now can create distance between us and eventually end our relationship. So what do we do? I'm not a sociologist. Maybe we should see a psychologist. I've thought about it, and I think we need a break in our marriage to explore our own identities and experiences with other people. This way, when we come back together, we'll have a broader perspective to strengthen our relationship. This break will show him that you're aware of your past and our connection since university. He's talking about divorce, which isn't good. This will cause a big scandal. It will become office gossip, and eventually Lisa will find out. Lisa, I'm not interested in divorcing my husband. You've never been interested, right? Tell me, what should I do now? Has your husband come back? No, he still has to pick up my parents and then come back. I'm sure he'll come home. He won't leave. Tell him you've decided against a temporary separation. I did. He doesn't believe me. He thinks I'll persuade him to agree when he returns. When will he be here? I think it'll take 3 or 4 hours. That's our plan. Then tell him you've made a decision. There won't be a temporary separation. We need to calm his anger. We can't let this spread to our workplace, otherwise it will make things more complicated. Jenny hung up the phone, feeling relieved by Richard's support. She thought about the situation and remembered the old saying about how to win a man's heart. She decided to set the table to avoid kitchen problems. She got dressed, went to a cafe, and ordered takeout. She also brought a bottle of wine and placed a corkscrew next to it. She put 2 glasses and heated the appetizer she bought in the microwave. In the living room, she turned on the TV and sat in a chair. She wondered if her brief affair with her old lover was worth risking her family. Now convincing her husband would be an extremely difficult task. She wasn't sure how much he knew about her relationship with Richard. Probably she shouldn't have told her husband that her old classmate became her boss. She knew he would eventually find out, and as a result, Tom found out about her connection with Richard and left her. That was true. Richard disappeared from her life and then suddenly reappeared. When Jenny found out that he would become her commercial director, she felt an unexpected attraction. She understood that it was just a brief affair, nothing more. Their first face-to-face conversation confirmed this. Richard said to her, Jenny, I've always liked you, but I can't risk breaking up my family. Even though I'm not willing to break the bond with you, we must be very careful. You're also married, as far as I know. Life showed her the foolishness of her decision. Their discussion at the office involved a scientific basis, but it seemed like they had underestimated something. 4 hours passed, and Tom didn't return. He should have been back by now. Jenny called her mother's phone, although a little late, but her mother answered. Daughter, I'm here. I was just calling to check on you. It's winter. It gets dark quickly. We're sitting with Grandpa. We had a little fight. What was the fight about? Just the usual old stuff. He wanted to drink. I refused, but he found where I hid the bottle. How are you? When will you bring your granddaughters? Jenny understood from the conversation with her mother that Tom hadn't arrived. After the call to her mother, she called Tom's parents again. Tom's father, a retired military officer, answered. Jenny, is that you? Tell me the truth. Are you looking for Tom and the kids, right? He warned us about this. So, is he with you? No, he hasn't arrived. He called and said they were getting a divorce. That's ridiculous. We just had a small fight, but we're not getting a divorce over that. I know it's not just about you two. It also involves someone from your work. What did he say? He told me that this morning at breakfast you proposed a 2-day separation, and when he disagreed, you said you'd cancel it but discuss it when he got back. Is that true? No. Tom said he was tired of arguing. He decided to divorce. He left to settle things and won't be coming back, though he suggested that you were still at home waiting for him, calming him down. I have no plans, Jenny. That's not true. Tom knows you've been seeing that man. When I suggested he go up and find out for himself, he said, Dad, I'm not interested. I have daughters. They're on my side. Where did he go? He didn't tell us. We're very disappointed. We didn't even ask if he would call. Elim, he misunderstood everything. I did everything possible for our family, but now I see I made a mistake. I don't know, daughter. My wife and I have been together forever. Even in the most difficult times, we never thought of separation. Who put these ridiculous ideas in your head? If you've fallen in love with another man, why torture everyone? If you're willing to run away with a lover, leaving your husband and kids, pack your things and go. Don't ruin your life and others' lives. Tom will survive. Maybe he'll be better off. He's not old or unattractive. The girls will get along with him. What are you talking about? There won't be a divorce. That's your opinion. I know my son. You seem not to understand him. I just have to explain everything to him, and he'll realize he made a mistake. In any case, he'll call. Jenny called Richard, and unexpectedly a woman answered the phone. I'm looking for Richard. Who are you? My name is Jenny. We work together. Oh, I see. Let me tell you, dear. I kicked him out. Don't call him. He doesn't have a phone. Is there a problem? Don't you know? I've already moved to 2 different cities because of this man. He's a liar and a womanizer, but I won't leave this new house. Where is Richard? How would I know? I kicked him out. Maybe he's with you. He doesn't know where I live. Why would he be at my house? He knows about my work, but he's not the only one with relationships with you and plans to meet all of you during my vacation. Besides, I'm not going anywhere. Tom and his daughters were at a ski resort out of town. He knew some employees there and called one of them on the way. One of his former classmates, Mark, had become the supervisor of the base in the mountains. After explaining the situation, Tom asked him to accommodate him and the girls for a winter vacation. Mark responded, Tom, it's a dream come true to do something for you. I have a company vacancy and 3 cabins. I'll leave one for you. Great, but I have a request. If anyone calls, don't confirm that my daughters and I are vacationing at this base. Okay, I'll leave the cabin for you. When will you arrive? We'll be there in an hour and a half. I can't drive too fast. The road is slippery. All right, I'll set the table for you near the cabin entrance. Tell them you came to see Mark, and they'll guide you. After an hour and a half, they arrived at the ski lodge entrance. They told the guard they came to see Mark, and he showed them where to go. There was a covered parking area near the cabin, and Tom parked the car there. They entered the house with their luggage. Mark was waiting at the table, and said when he saw them approaching, Come on, the food on the table is almost cold. You're always in a hurry. Let my girls wash up and take a look around. There are 2 bedrooms on the 2nd floor, and 1 on the 1st. Emma and Lily took their things upstairs. They had already changed into sportswear and found the rooms satisfactory. Tom's daughters had grown up and looked good. Where's Jenny? Why didn't she come? That's another story. I'll tell you later. Let's toast to this reunion. The friends raised their glasses to toast, sometimes interrupted by Tom's daughter's questions. Finally, Lily asked Mark if there was more entertainment at the ski lodge. Right now, there's a dance in the hall. We didn't bring anything to dance in. There's no dress code. You can come in the clothes you're wearing. Then, can we go? Of course. I'll call one of my employees to accompany you there. Mark called, and a few minutes later, a young employee came to accompany Emma and Lily. After they left, Mark asked Tom about his wife. She decided to divorce. Why did you go through with it? I remember when we were dating, there were rumors that she was seeing someone else. Yeah, I heard those rumors too, but there was never any solid proof. Well, that stranger eventually became the commercial director at Jenny's work. They got emotionally involved, and I didn't notice at first. He has a wife, Lisa, who decided to divorce him and told me everything. It all came out today. Did she cheat on you? No. They decided we shouldn't spend the long weekends together to strengthen our marriage because we're getting older. I've always been skeptical about sociologists. Sociology is a field full of people who don't really get society, and they try to impose so-called laws they've discovered, which are usually just made up. You're right. It sounds like they made it up just for me. So, what are you going to do? When I talked to her, I realized that continuing our life together would be unbearable. So I decided to divorce. What's next? Nothing. I need to figure out how to move forward. A group of lawyers is coming here tomorrow. They have an office downtown. I'll ask them for help. Come on, pour a glass of wine. Emma and Lily returned from the dance around 11 p.m. A ski lodge employee took care of Mark's guests and escorted the girls back to the cabin. Tom prepared a late dinner for the girls, and they ate together before heading to their rooms. Tom sat on the bed, trying to hold back tears. It had been a tough day for him, and he couldn't forget what Jenny had done. He turned on the recorder and listened to the recording to confirm that his decision was right, given the current circumstances. Jenny never waited for her husband, and she didn't know where he might have taken their daughters. But Tom remembered that he had said before that promises must be kept. They had promised the girls they would go to the ski lodge. So he left, suspecting the reservation had been made in advance. She turned on the computer, which Tom usually used, but her thorough search yielded no results. She found no information about the ski lodge. She advised him not to rush to make a decision about their apartment, saying, "Remember, your girls will grow up and have their own families. They'll need their own space. If you move now to an apartment with them, there may be new men in the future, which could complicate things. I can't imagine living in an apartment with her. Try to imagine it and consider the proposal for division first. Explain to your wife that you'll file for divorce. When will the documents be ready? Don't rush. The judicial authorities are also on holiday. I have my laptop. I'll prepare them and we can print them later. Besides, you can contact me through my office or hire me to represent you in court." I like the latter option. Tom and his daughters celebrated New Year's Eve with Mark, his wife, his sister, and a group of lawyers in the ski lodge's main hall. Other tourists also joined, making it a lively night full of music, fun, and dancing. In the morning, Tom took his tired daughters back to the cabin, ready to sleep. After finishing the celebration in the main hall, they gathered in their cabin, sat by the fireplace, and then returned to their rooms. The following days went as planned, with more skiing, ice skating, and evening dances. Mark asked Tom, "How are you doing?" Tom replied, "You know, aside from the daytime diversions, I've shed many tears at night. But today, I'm more prepared than ever to face the future." Tom and his daughters packed up and prepared to return from the trip. Tom had a conversation with them, emphasizing the importance of not losing their apartment. They stopped at a shopping mall to buy groceries and then returned home as dusk was falling. Emma and Lily immediately started rearranging their rooms, and Lily moved her things into Emma's room. At that moment, Jenny entered and asked, "What are you two doing?" "We're turning Lily's room into Dad's room, and we'll share a room," explained Lily. Jenny asked about this decision and warned, "I won't tolerate your boyfriends in the house. You can roam wherever you want, but know that I'm going to file for divorce." After they finished the room changes, the girls prepared for school. Tom began preparing dinner and breakfast for the next morning. Jenny entered, trying to start a conversation, but Tom didn't respond. Then Jenny went to the girls' room and asked if they wanted to talk to her. The girls said they didn't miss her, and Tom told them to stay away from him at all times. Tom, Emma, and Lily lived separately from Jenny, with Tom locking the doors to the rooms they occupied. Tom cooked for himself and his daughters, deliberately ignoring Jenny's presence. On Friday night, a young woman delivered a certified letter to Jenny, containing a summons and a complaint. After reading the contents, Jenny ran to the kitchen in tears, asking Tom why he wanted a divorce and expressing hope to resolve the problem. Tom suggested she consult a lawyer and discuss the matter with him. Jenny recalled Richard's disappearance, and Tom suggested she seek advice from him. Jenny insisted she had no one else but Tom remained firm. The girls had already eaten and left the room, not speaking to Jenny. In her desperation, Jenny kept begging Tom, declaring her love for him and their daughters. Tom responded, "What does my love have to do with this? I loved you, but that was before I found out about your affair with your old boyfriend, whom you didn't even tell me about. I realized that loving you was foolish. Do you want to talk? Fine. Tell me about your fake weekends. What are your plans? How are you going to spend them? I haven't heard your wonderful sociological theories from your companion in a while. Enlighten me with your new story. How did you spend your weekends? Did you have fun? I think it's good that your companion has disappeared again, so let's talk." Tom finished preparing dinner and started washing the dishes. Hearing the noise, Emma entered the kitchen and offered to wash the dishes. Tom refused her help, suggesting she go upstairs and tidy her room. He assured her that he would wash the dishes and take care of ironing her already dry clothes. Jenny felt completely ignored during the conversation and felt that Tom didn't want to communicate with her, so she became emotional and returned to her room. Meanwhile, Tom quickly washed the dishes, turned off the lights, and headed to his room. He noticed a pile of laundry already washed and waiting to be ironed. Before going to bed, Tom went to the kitchen and found Jenny sitting in the dark. Seeing her, he said, "Jenny, none of this was planned. It just happened. I dated Richard in university, and then he disappeared suddenly. No, I wasn't harassed or forced. Few knew we were dating, almost no one knew. He broke up with me abruptly. He appeared at our work and we started interacting through work events. One day he invited me to lunch. At first it was just lunch, nothing more. Then something changed. However, from the beginning he made it clear there shouldn't be any suspicious encounters. Everything had to be carefully planned to avoid being discovered by our partners. I reluctantly agreed, thinking it was a short-term affair with no future. This temporary separation meant it was our first and only encounter. Is that how you invented the story you told me? I didn't realize it would go this far, and I agreed to Richard's proposal. Jenny, can't you see he was just using you? Can you really be so naive? No, it's not that. For a long time you didn't compliment me on my appearance, my clothes, or my modern hairstyle. But don't blame me for all of this. Just because I didn't tell you every day how wonderful you look doesn't justify having an affair. Are you saying you're willing to have an affair with anyone who compliments you? In the following days, Tom prepared to meet with child protection representatives. According to his lawyer Maria, their opinions would carry significant weight in court, although the children's opinions would also be considered. Tom had a lot to handle in a short time, and at night, being alone, he struggled to sleep. His thoughts were occupied with love and betrayal. The most important person in his life had betrayed him, leaving him with mixed feelings of anger and pain. Now he just wanted a divorce, though it seemed unlikely. He had lost trust in Jenny, and their marriage was irreparable. He also had to consider the children, who had distanced themselves from their mother. In the conversation, Jenny suggested that, for the sake of the children, they remain married and try to save their marriage. Tom responded, "I believe our daughters should know that their parents love them unconditionally. Our daughters are not responsible for what happened. They're old enough to form their own opinions about us. And you need to understand that I haven't said anything bad about you to them. They've formed their judgments based on the criticism of our temporary separation, which they heard from you." Tom continued, "Jenny, I'm proud of our daughters. They quickly understood what happened between us and your lover. They discussed it among themselves, and I believe their decision wasn't rushed. When we left, they were very angry with you. Talking to them changed my plans for the long weekends and the trajectory of my life. The girls know more than you think." Jenny asked, "Do the girls hate me?" Tom responded, "For someone with a degree in sociology, you show a strange lack of understanding. I didn't expect this. Yes, they know their mother was unfaithful. And yes, they're angry with you for that. You can try to rebuild your relationship with them, of course. But as a sociologist, you studied the field of psychology related to behavior patterns and human activities. You should remember that adolescence occurs between ages 10, 11, and 15, 16, when children transition from childlike behaviors to more adult behaviors, experiencing significant physiological changes. It's hard to predict how you'll be able to connect with them." In court, they met and had a preliminary hearing. They were given some time to try to resolve their differences. When this period ended, Tom proposed that Jenny sign a custody agreement as part of their divorce. According to this agreement, the girls would live with him. Hearing this, Jenny announced she wouldn't sign any agreement. Tom warned her that she would have to go to court, where they would hear the conversation with the girls and make a decision that probably wouldn't be in her favor. Jenny responded that she couldn't be completely sure. The court's decision could be appealed. Tom replied, "Well, good luck with that." Jenny confessed, "Tom, I know I was a fool. I understand I did wrong. Please understand that I love you and will never let Richard back into my life. You decided to replace him with someone else. It's your personal choice. It's your life. Don't try to blame me. You're a sociologist. Now, if you agree, please forgive me." I have a lot to do. If you decide to sign the agreement, it's usually signed in front of a notary. In general, agreements that determine the children's residence don't require mandatory notarization, but it's recommended to draft and notarize the document. Thank you, but she doesn't want to sign anything, and I don't need her to sign. She just won't get anything. Thus, the court-mandated period for the parties to reach an agreement ended. Jenny made desperate efforts to rebuild her relationship with her daughters, but her efforts were unsuccessful. After school, the girls started attending computer classes and returned home with their father, usually having a snack in their father's room before doing homework. Meanwhile, Tom prepared dinner and breakfast for the next day. One day, the Child Protection Agency visited them. They talked to the girls, checked their rooms, and wrote a report. Subsequently, they attended the court hearing on time. Tom brought the girls to court and answered some questions from the lawyers. Jenny entered the room and sat in her place. She didn't have a lawyer, but sought advice from friends who had divorced and fully understood the irreparable state of her marriage. During the hearing, she briefly answered the court's questions with simple yes or no answers. At the end of the hearing, Jenny announced that she was giving up her share of the apartment in favor of the girls, granting a deed of gift. The judge noted that she had already collected her personal belongings from the apartment and that the rest would be removed within a week. She requested a recess to sign the proposed support agreement from Tom. After the recess, she added, "I am willing to pay Tom's support voluntarily because I know the court's decision may not be in my favor." Tom replied, "To ensure the transparency of the funds I receive as support, I propose that the defendant opens a separate account for each daughter and transfers the funds there. I believe they will need that money when they come of age." The judge listened to both parties and clarified that the support and division of the apartment were not part of the initial claims, so the court would not consider those issues. Regarding the support agreement and the divorce, these matters would be decided by the court. Then the judge adjourned the hearing to make a decision. As a result, Tom and Jenny left the court officially divorced. The girls were released from participation after the hearing and found them sitting on a bench near the bus stop, savoring ice cream despite the cold weather. Seeing them, Tom asked, "Girls, what are you doing? It's cold." The girls explained that they were taking the ice cream home, thinking it wouldn't hurt in winter and might even soothe a sore throat. It was a bit contradictory. Tom asked, "Why did you choose 19 years old as the age to access the funds?" The girls responded, "That's our decision." Jenny kept her promise and left the apartment. She moved in with her parents to care for her sick mother. Tom agreed to allow her to visit the girls once a week, although Emma and Lily were somewhat reluctant about this. During these visits, Jenny spent time with her daughters in their dwelling, trying to rebuild their relationship. Epilogue. Tom spent a lot of time alone on New Year's Eve. He often rested at the ski lodge with his adult daughters, usually accompanied by Mark's wife's sister, Kara. They began to develop a relationship, but Tom wasn't in a hurry to make commitments. For him, the most important focus in life remained his daughters, and he continued to raise and guide them. Kara didn't have children of her own, but she got along well with Emma and Lily, although the girls were a bit jealous at first. Tom surrounded his daughters with love and care, and seeing Kara's arrival, he hoped it would bring his family closer together. Kara, who didn't have children of her own, got along well with Alice and Gwen, though the girls were initially a bit jealous of the attention Mark was giving her. Over time, the presence of Kara in their lives began to bring them closer together, and she became an important part of their extended family. Jenny had a difficult year, with her parents passing away one after the other. Tom helped her with the funerals, but their shared grief did not renew their relationship. For a long time, Jenny lived alone, with her daughters being her main social circle. Eventually, she started dating a lonely widower from the neighborhood. Her former companion, Richard, no longer appeared in town, and his whereabouts remained a mystery, even to his ex-wife, Lisa, who remarried shortly after their divorce. For Mark, the process of moving forward was slow but steady. His primary focus remained on creating a stable and loving environment for his daughters, and with the support of Kara and his close-knit family, he found a new sense of balance and hope for the future. Bye-bye.